Dr. Lisa Hayes pulled her thick coat tighter as the cold Antarctic wind hit her face. She had been working at the research station for 3 months now. The ice never got easier to deal with. Her team was here to study old rocks and ice formations. But today felt different. "The readings are getting stronger," said Ben Clark, her chief engineer. He was staring at a small screen that showed strange energy patterns. "Whatever is down there, it's big." Lisa nodded and looked at the endless white landscape around them. For weeks, their equipment had been picking up weird signals from deep under the ice. The signals were not natural. They came from something made by intelligent beings. "How deep do you think it is?" asked Sam Rodriguez, the team's historian. He was new to Antarctica, but had studied ancient civilizations his whole life. "About 2 kilometers down," Ben replied. "Maybe more. The ice here is really thick." Lisa made a decision that would change everything. "We need to dig." The drilling took 2 weeks. Every day they went deeper into the ice. Every day, the signals got stronger. Lisa called her boss back in America several times, but he told her to keep going. The government was interested in what they might find. On the 15th day, their drill hit something hard. Not rock, not ice, metal. "This is impossible," Ben said, looking at his instruments. "The metal is huge. It goes on for hundreds of meters, in every direction." Lisa felt her heart racing. What could be this big and this deep under the ice? She called her boss again. "Sir, we found something. Something big." "How big?" came the voice through the radio. "It looks like a building. Or maybe a ship. It's made of metal, and it's been here for a very long time." There was silence on the radio for a long moment. Then her boss spoke again. "Dr. Hayes, I'm sending Commander Jake Morrison and a military team to help you. Do not do anything until they arrive." 3 days later, a large helicopter landed near their camp. Commander Jake Morrison stepped out with 10 soldiers. He was tall and serious looking, with gray hair and sharp eyes. Lisa had worked with military people before, but Morrison seemed different. He looked like someone who had seen many battles. "Dr. Hayes," Morrison said, shaking her hand. "Tell me what you found." Lisa showed him the data. Morrison studied the readings carefully. His expression grew more serious with each page. "This structure is massive," he said finally. "If it's artificial, it's bigger than anything we've ever built." "That's what worries me," Lisa replied. "Commander, we've never seen metal like this before. Our scans show it's not like anything in our databases." Morrison called his superiors on a secure radio. After a long conversation, he turned back to Lisa. "We're going down there. My team will cut through the ice and create an entrance. Your team will study whatever we find." The next morning, Morrison's soldiers used special equipment to melt through the ice. It took hours, but finally they created a tunnel that led down to the metal structure. Lisa was the first scientist to go down. The tunnel was dark and cold. But when she reached the bottom, she gasped. In front of her was a smooth metal wall that stretched as far as she could see. The metal was dark gray and seemed to absorb light. Strange symbols were carved into the surface. "Ben, Sam, you need to see this," she called up through the tunnel. When her team joined her, they stood in amazed silence. The wall was perfectly smooth, as if it had been made yesterday, but their instruments showed it was thousands of years old. "These symbols," Sam said, touching the metal surface. "They look familiar, but I can't place them." Ben was running his scanner along the wall. "I'm getting energy readings. Whatever this is, it's not dead. There's power running through it." Morrison climbed down with 2 of his soldiers. When he saw the wall, he whistled softly. "Any idea what we're looking at?" he asked Lisa. "It's definitely artificial," she replied, "but the technology is beyond anything we know. Commander, I think this might be a ship. A ship, under 2 kilometers of ice. This shape is right. And look at these symbols. They're not random. They're organized, like writing. Sam was studying the symbols more closely. Dr. Hayes, these symbols. Some of them look like very old human writing. But that's impossible. Why? Is it impossible? Morrison asked. Because humans have never had technology like this. We've only been in space for a few hundred years. This thing has been here for thousands of years. Ben found something that looked like a door. It was outlined in the metal wall, but there was no handle or opening mechanism. Commander, we need to get inside, Lisa said. Whatever this is, it could change everything we know about human history. Morrison nodded slowly. All right, but we do this carefully. If this is some kind of alien ship, we need to be ready for anything. Ben placed his scanner against the door-like outline. Suddenly, lights appeared along the edges. The door made a soft humming sound and began to slide open. Cool air flowed out from inside. The air smelled old but clean, like it had been recycled for a very long time. The atmosphere is breathable, Ben said, checking his instruments. Temperature is constant. There's definitely power running through this thing. Lisa stepped forward, but Morrison grabbed her arm. I go first, he said. We don't know what's in there. Morrison drew his weapon and stepped through the doorway. Lisa and her team followed close behind. Inside, they found themselves in a long hallway. The walls were the same dark metal, but now they could see that the symbols were everywhere. They covered the walls, the ceiling, even the floor. Soft blue lights came on automatically as they walked. This is incredible, Sam whispered. It's like the ship is alive. Maybe it is, Lisa replied. Ben, are you recording all of this? Every second, Ben confirmed. The energy readings are off the charts. This ship has more power than our entire research station. They walked deeper into the ship. The hallways were tall and wide, built for humans, but somehow different. Everything was bigger, more impressive than anything they had seen. After walking for 10 minutes, they reached a large room. In the center was a raised platform with what looked like a command chair. Screens and control panels surrounded the chair, but they were all dark. This looks like a bridge, Morrison said, like the command center of a military ship. Sam was studying the symbols on the walls. These writings, they're definitely based on human languages, but they're older than anything in our records. Lisa approached the command chair. As she got closer, some of the screens around it began to glow softly. It's responding to us, she said. Commander, I think this ship has been waiting for humans to find it. Morrison looked around the bridge with new understanding. Dr. Hayes, if this is a human ship, where are the humans who built it? And why is it buried under 2 kilometers of ice? Lisa touched one of the glowing screens. Images began to appear, star maps, technical diagrams, and what looked like historical records. I don't know, Commander, she said quietly, but I think we're about to find out. The screen showed an image that made them all freeze. It was Earth, but not as they knew it. This Earth had massive cities, ships flying through space, and technology that made their current civilization look primitive. My God, Sam whispered. This is our planet. But when? As if answering his question, symbols appeared on the screen. Ben quickly ran them through his translation program. 12,000 years ago, he said in amazement. This ship is from 12,000 years ago, and it was built by humans. The implications hit them all at once. Humanity had reached the stars before. They had built ships that could cross galaxies. They had technology that modern humans could barely understand. But somehow, it had all been lost. Commander, Lisa said, her voice shaking with excitement and fear. I think we just found proof that humanity used to rule the galaxy. Morrison stared at the images on the screen. Ships larger than cities, weapons that could destroy planets, technology that seemed like magic. The question is, he said slowly, what happened to them? And why did they bury this ship here? The screen flickered and new images appeared. These showed battles in space. Massive fleets fighting against alien ships. The humans were winning, but at a terrible cost. They were at war, Sam said. Our ancestors were fighting someone, fighting for their lives. Lisa noticed something else on the screen. A date, not from 12,000 years ago, but from 3 years ago. The date when humanity's war with the Hegemony Alliance had ended. "Commander," she said quietly, "I think the war isn't over. I think it's just beginning again." As if responding to her words, the entire ship began to hum with power. Lights came on throughout the bridge. The command chair began to glow. Morrison grabbed his radio. "Base, this is Morrison. We need immediate backup, and contact Earth Command. Tell them we found something that changes everything." The ancient ship was waking up, and with it, humanity's true destiny was about to be revealed. The ancient ship hummed with growing power. Commander Morrison had called for backup, but it would take days for more help to arrive. Meanwhile, the ship seemed to be waking up after thousands of years of sleep. Dr. Sam Rodriguez spent hours studying the symbols on the walls. He had brought books and computers filled with information about old human languages. Slowly, he began to understand what the writings meant. "This is amazing," Sam told the others as they gathered around the command chair. "These writings tell a story. They call this ship Titan's Rest. It belonged to something called the First Terran Empire." "Terran means Earth," Lisa said. "So humans had an empire? Not just an empire?" Sam replied, his eyes wide with excitement. "According to these records, humans controlled most of the galaxy. They had thousands of ships like this one. They ruled over dozens of alien species." Commander Morrison frowned. "That doesn't make sense. 3 years ago, we could barely fight off the Hegemony Alliance. How could our ancestors have been so powerful?" Sam pointed 2 more symbols on the wall. "The records show that humans fought the Hegemony before, 12,000 years ago. But back then, the Hegemony was much smaller. Humans defeated them completely." "Then what happened?" Ben asked. "Why don't we remember any of this?" Before Sam could answer, one of Morrison's soldiers came running onto the bridge. "Commander, we have a problem. Captain Alex Turner is here. He says he has orders from Earth Command." Morrison looked surprised. "Turner? I thought he retired after the war, Captain." Alex Turner walked onto the bridge. He was younger than Morrison, with dark hair and intense blue eyes. He had been one of Earth's best fighter pilots during the war with the Hegemony. "Commander Morrison," Turner said, "Earth Command sent me as soon as they heard about your discovery. I have experience with alien technology." "This isn't alien technology," Lisa said. "It's human, very old human technology." Turner looked around the bridge with amazement. "Human? But this is more advanced than anything we have today." "That's what we're trying to figure out," Morrison replied. "Dr. Rodriguez has been translating the records." Turner approached the command chair. As he got closer, the chair began to glow brighter. The screens around it came to life, showing more information than they had seen before. "It's responding to you," Ben said, "more than it did to any of us." Turner reached out and touched the arm of the chair. Suddenly, lights flashed across the bridge. The ship's humming grew louder. All the screens showed the same message and symbols that Sam quickly translated. "Genetic match confirmed," Sam read aloud. "Command authorization accepted. Welcome back, Captain. Welcome back," Turner said. "But I've never been here before." The main screen flickered, and a voice spoke. It was speaking in an old form of English, but they could understand it. "Greetings, descendant of Terra. I am Sovereign, the artificial intelligence of this vessel. I have been waiting for one of pure Terran bloodline to return." Everyone stared at the screen. Turner stepped back from the chair. "You're saying I'm descended from the people who built this ship?" Turner asked. "Correct. the voice replied. Your genetic patterns match those of the ancient Terran commanders. You carry the bloodline of those who once ruled the stars. Morrison moved closer to Turner. Sovereign, can you tell us what happened to the first Terran Empire? The screen showed images of the galaxy as it was 12,000 years ago. Humans had built massive cities on hundreds of worlds. Their ships traveled between stars as easily as cars traveled between cities. The first Terran Empire lasted for 3,000 years, Sovereign explained. Humans were the dominant species in the galaxy. We maintained peace and order among all civilizations. Then what went wrong? Lisa asked. The images changed to show battles in space. Human ships fought against fleets of alien vessels. But these aliens were different from the hegemony they knew today. The hegemony alliance was formed by species that resented human rule, Sovereign continued. They believed that no single species should control the galaxy. War broke out across all known space. But you won, Sam said. The records show that humans defeated the hegemony. Yes, we won, Sovereign replied. But the victory came at a terrible price. The weapons used in the final battles damaged space itself. Entire star systems were destroyed. Billions died on both sides. Turner sat down in the command chair. As soon as he did, the ship's power increased dramatically. They could feel it humming through the metal floor. The leaders of the first Terran Empire made a difficult decision, Sovereign continued. They chose to abandon their technology and start over. They wanted to break the cycle of war and destruction. They gave up all of this, Morrison asked, looking around at the advanced technology surrounding them. Most of it, yes. The great ships were hidden or destroyed. The colonies were abandoned. Humans returned to Earth and began again as a simple civilization. Only a few ships like this one were kept hidden away in case the hegemony ever returned. Ben was studying his instruments. The power readings are incredible. This ship has enough energy to power our entire planet. Sovereign, Turner said. Why is the ship responding to me specifically? Captain Turner, your ancestors were among those who chose to preserve the old knowledge. Your family line was selected to maintain the genetic codes needed to activate ships like this one. You are, in effect, the heir to the first Terran Empire. Turner looked overwhelmed. But I'm just a fighter pilot. I don't know anything about ruling empires. You know more than you realize, Sovereign replied. The knowledge is in your genes, passed down through generations. When you fully interface with this ship, that knowledge will awaken. Lisa stepped forward. Sovereign, why are you telling us this now? Why? Wake up after 12,000 years. The screen showed new images. These were recent, showing alien ships moving through space toward Earth's solar system, because the hegemony has returned, Sovereign said. They have spent 12,000 years growing stronger. They have conquered the species that remained neutral in the first war. Now they come to finish what they started. Morrison grabbed his radio base. This is Morrison. Contact Earth Command immediately. Tell them we have confirmation of incoming hostile forces. Commander, Sovereign interrupted. Your current communication systems are too slow. The hegemony fleet will arrive in 72 hours. Earth's defenses will not be sufficient to stop them. Turner gripped the arms of the command chair. What? Can we do one? Ship can't fight an entire fleet. This is not just one ship, Captain Turner. Titan's Rest is a command vessel. It can coordinate with other hidden ships and activate Earth's dormant defense systems. But only if you accept full command integration. What does that mean? Turner asked. You must link your mind directly to the ship's systems. You will gain access to all the knowledge and capabilities of the first Terran Empire. However, the process will change you. You will become something more than human, but also something less. Turner looked at Morrison and the others. If I don't do this, Earth falls to the hegemony. That is correct, Sovereign replied. The choice is yours, Captain. Remain human and watch your species face extinction, or transcend humanity and save your people. Morrison put his hand on Turner's shoulder. Alex, this is too much for one person to decide. We need to contact Earth Command. There is no time, Commander, Sovereign said. The Hegemony scouts are already in your outer solar system. They will detect Earth's technology within hours. The attack will begin immediately after. Ben was monitoring his equipment. Commander, I'm picking up new signals. Something's moving past Pluto. Moving fast. Turner stood up from the command chair. How do I do it? How do I interface with the ship? Place both hands on the neural interface panels, Sovereign instructed. But understand, Captain Turner, once you begin this process, there is no going back. You will save humanity, but you will no longer be entirely human yourself. Turner looked at his friends one more time. He thought about Earth, about the billions of people who had no idea what was coming for them. He thought about the war they had just finished, and how many good people had died fighting the hegemony. I have to do this, he said quietly. Alex. Wait, Lisa said. Maybe there's another way. Dr. Hayes is correct, Sovereign said. There are other options, but they all result in Earth's destruction and humanity's enslavement. This ship contains weapons that can destroy planets, but only a fully integrated commander can use them effectively. Turner placed his hands on the neural interface panels. Immediately, electricity flowed through his body. His eyes glowed with the same blue light as the ship's screens. Information flooded into his mind. He saw the history of the First Terran Empire. He understood how their weapons worked, how their ships traveled between stars, how they had built a civilization that spanned the galaxy. But he also saw the cost. The ancient humans had become so powerful that they lost touch with their humanity. They made decisions based on logic and efficiency, not on compassion or love. I can see it all, Turner said, his voice slightly different now. The hegemony. Fleet. 1,200 ships. They're carrying weapons designed to break Earth's crust and boil away the oceans. Morrison felt a chill. Can we stop them? Turner's eyes blazed brighter. We can do more than stop them, Commander. We can end this war once and for all. But the weapons we'll need. They're terrible. They can unmake entire star systems. Sovereign, Sam said. Why did the ancient humans choose to give up this power? Because power without wisdom leads to destruction, Dr. Rodriguez. The First Terran Empire became so mighty that it forgot why it fought. In the end, they were no different from the enemies they defeated. Turner stood up from the chair, but the light in his eyes remained. The integration is complete. I have access to all ship systems and weapons. I can feel other ships waking up across the galaxy. Other ships? Morrison asked. Hundreds of them. Hidden on dead worlds, buried in asteroids, waiting in the dark, between stars. The First Terran Empire built a fail-safe system. If the hegemony ever returned in force, the fleet would awaken. Ben's instruments were going crazy. The power output is incredible. This ship is drawing energy from sources I can't even identify. Turner looked out at the stars through the ship's sensors. The hegemony thinks they're attacking a weak, primitive world. They have no idea what they're about to face. Will they surrender when they see what we can do? Lisa asked. Turner's expression was cold, more machine-like than human. The hegemony never surrenders. They will fight until every ship is destroyed. The question is whether we choose to destroy them, or find another way. Morrison realized that Turner was already changing. The man he had known was still there, but something else was emerging. Something with the power to reshape the galaxy. Alex, Morrison said carefully, remember who you're fighting for. Remember what makes us human. Turner's eyes focused on Morrison, and for a moment, the old Alex Turner showed through. I remember, Commander, but I also remember what the ancient humans became. The power to save humanity might be the same power that destroys it. Above them, invisible to human sensors, The first hegemony scouts entered Earth's solar system. The war for humanity's future was about to begin. High above Earth, the hegemony fleet moved through space like a dark cloud. 1,200 ships, each one larger than Earth's biggest cities. They had traveled for months to reach this moment. Supreme Commander Zarthik stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the blue planet below. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 arms. His species had served the hegemony for thousands of years. "Such a small world," he said to his officers. "It's hard to believe these humans caused us so much trouble." Intelligence Director Velinara, a being with tentacles instead of arms, moved closer to the viewing screen. "The humans fought better than expected, Commander. But their technology is still primitive compared to ours." Zarthik nodded. 3 years ago, the hegemony had tried to conquer Earth. They had expected an easy victory. Instead, the humans had fought with surprising skill and determination. The war had lasted 2 years and cost both sides many ships. "This time will be different," Zarthik said. "This time we brought enough ships to crush them completely." In the back of the bridge, an old warrior named Krexoth watched silently. He was one of the few beings old enough to remember the ancient stories. Stories about humans that most of the hegemony had forgotten. "Commander," said the communications officer, "we're receiving a transmission from Earth." "Put it on screen," Zarthik ordered. The image of a human appeared on the main screen. It was Admiral Johnson, the leader of Earth's defense forces. "This is Admiral Johnson of Earth Defense Command," the human said. "You are entering our solar system without permission. State your intentions." Zarthik smiled, showing sharp teeth. "I am Supreme Commander Zarthik of the Hegemony Alliance. I have come to accept your unconditional surrender." "We don't surrender," Johnson replied. "We fought you before. We'll fight you again." "Admiral Johnson," Zarthik said, 3 years ago, you faced 50 of our ships. Today, you face 1,200. Your planet has no chance of survival unless you surrender now." "We'll take our chances," Johnson said, and the transmission ended. Zarthik turned to his officers. "Begin the attack. Target their orbital stations first, then their cities. Leave some humans alive so they can serve as slaves." The hegemony fleet moved toward Earth, their weapons powered up, ready to rain destruction on the planet below. But something strange happened. Earth's defense satellites, which had been quiet and inactive, suddenly came to life. They began broadcasting signals on frequencies the hegemony had never heard before. "Commander," the sensor officer reported, "we're detecting unusual energy readings from the planet's surface, specifically from Antarctica." "What kind of energy?" Velinara asked. "Unknown, but it's incredibly powerful. More powerful than anything in our databases. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice." Captain Turner sat in the command chair of Titan's Rest. The ship was fully active now, its ancient systems humming with power. Turner's eyes glowed with blue light as he connected to networks across the galaxy. "Commander Morrison," Turner said, his voice echoing strangely, "I'm detecting the hegemony fleet. 1,200 ships, just as Sovereign predicted." Morrison stood beside the command chair with Lisa, Sam, and Ben. The bridge was filled with activity as the ship's systems came online. "Can we fight them?" Morrison asked. "We can do more than fight them," Turner replied. "Watch." The main screen showed space above Earth. The hegemony fleet was moving into attack position. But then something incredible happened. The ice in Antarctica began to crack and break. Massive chunks of ice flew into the air as something enormous rose from beneath the surface. Titan's Rest was emerging from its ancient hiding place. The ship was massive, larger than any vessel humans had ever built. It was shaped like a giant sword, with weapons and sensors covering every surface. As it rose into the sky, ice fell from its hull like snow. "My God," Lisa whispered. "It's beautiful." The ship continued rising until it broke through Earth's atmosphere. In space, it looked even more impressive. The hegemony fleet stopped moving as their sensors detected the massive vessel. On the hegemony flagship, alarms were ringing. "Commander," the sensor officer reported, "the ship is 2 kilometers long. Its hull is made of materials we don't recognize. Energy readings are off our scales." Zarthik stared at the screen. "Where did it come from?" "It appears to have been hidden beneath the planet's ice," Velinara said. "But Commander, this technology is far beyond what humans should possess." Kriksoff stepped forward. "Commander, I request permission to speak." Zarthik looked at the old warrior. "What is it, Kriksoff?" "I have seen ships like this before, in the old archives. In the stories our ancestors tried to forget." "What stories?" Zarthik demanded. "The stories of the first Terran Empire, of the humans who once ruled the galaxy." Zarthik laughed. "Those are myths. Fairy tales to scare children." "Are they?" Kriksoff asked, pointing at the screen. "Then explain that ship." Before Zarthik could respond, the human ship began to move. It didn't fly like normal ships. Instead, it seemed to bend space around itself, moving faster than anything the hegemony had ever seen. 3 hegemony destroyers moved to intercept the human ship. They fired their most powerful weapons, beams of energy that could cut through any known material. The beams struck the human ship and simply disappeared. The ship's shields absorbed the energy as if it were nothing. Then the human ship fired back. A single beam of golden light shot from the ship's main weapon. It struck the first destroyer, and the entire ship vanished. Not destroyed, not broken apart, but completely erased from existence. The other 2 destroyers tried to retreat, but the human ship fired again. 2 more beams of light, 2 more ships, erased from reality. On the hegemony flagship, everyone was silent. "How?" Zarthik whispered. Turner's voice came over the communication system, speaking directly to the hegemony fleet. "I am Captain Alex Turner of the Terran vessel Titan's Rest. You have entered our solar system with hostile intent. Withdraw immediately, or face destruction." Zarthik found his voice. "This is impossible. Humans don't have technology like this." "You're wrong," Turner replied. "Humans have always had this technology. We just chose not to use it. Until now." The main screen in the hegemony flagship showed the human ship clearly. It was covered in weapons that defied understanding. Energy patterns flowed across its hull like living things. "Commander," Velinara said quietly, "I recommend we withdraw. This ship is beyond our ability to fight." "No," Zarthik said. "We have 1,200 ships. One vessel cannot defeat an entire fleet, no matter how advanced." Kriksoff stepped closer to the commander. "Sir, with respect, you don't understand what we're facing. The first Terran Empire didn't just rule the galaxy. They created most of the technology we use today. Our ships, our weapons, our shields, they're all based on human designs." "That's impossible," Zarthik said. "Is it K?" Urzoth asked. "Why do you think our species learned to work together? Why do you think we formed the Hegemony Alliance in the first place?" "To bring order to the galaxy," Zarthik replied. "No," Kriksoff said, "to survive. Our ancestors formed the hegemony because they were afraid of the humans who had conquered them, afraid of the empire that controlled everything." Turner's voice came over the communication system again. "Supreme Commander Zarthik, I'm going to tell you something your leaders never taught you. 12,000 years ago, your ancestors served the first Terran Empire. They were not slaves, but willing subjects. Humans brought peace and order to the galaxy." "Lies," Zarthik said. "The rebellion that created the hegemony was started by a few species who wanted power for themselves," Turner continued. "They convinced others that human rule was oppression. They started a war that lasted centuries and destroyed countless worlds. On Earth, Dr. Lisa Hayes was watching the conversation through the ship's communication system. Turner's telling them the truth, she said to Morrison. The records in the ship's database show everything. The First Terran Empire wasn't an oppressive regime. It was a protectorate. Humans used their superior technology to keep peace between alien species. Then why did the war start? Morrison asked. Because some species wanted to rule themselves, Sam Rodriguez replied. They saw human superiority as humiliation. They preferred chaos to being protected. Back in space, Zarthik was making a decision that would determine the fate of both species. I don't believe you, he told Turner. Even if humans once ruled the galaxy, that time is over. Today, the hegemony is supreme. Then you've chosen poorly, Turner replied. The space around Earth began to shimmer. New ships appeared, materializing from hidden dimensions. Hundreds of them, each one as large and advanced as Titan's Rest. The hidden fleet of the First Terran Empire was awakening. Commander, the sensor officer reported, we're detecting massive energy signatures throughout the solar system. There are ships everywhere, hundreds of them. Zarthik stared at the screen in disbelief. Where did they come from? They were always there, Karzeth said quietly, waiting, watching, ready to defend their home world if the hegemony ever returned. Turner's voice filled the bridge of every hegemony ship. Supreme Commander, you have two choices. Withdraw your fleet and return to your own space, or face the full might of the Terran Empire. You're bluffing, Zarthik said. These ships have been hidden for thousands of years. They can't all be functional. In response, 50 of the human ships fired simultaneously. Their golden beams struck asteroids near the hegemony fleet. The asteroids didn't just break apart. They were transformed into energy and absorbed by the human ships. We've been waiting for you, Turner said. We've had 12,000 years to prepare. Our ships are powered by the fundamental forces of the universe. Our weapons can rewrite the laws of physics. Our defenses can stop anything you have. Zarthik looked around his bridge. His officers were afraid. Some of them were already suggesting retreat. Commander Villanara said, we should consider the captain's offer. If these ships are truly as powerful as they appear, no, Zor said, the hegemony does not retreat. We have faced humans before. We defeated them before. We will defeat them again. He turned to his communications officer. Send a message to all ships. Attack formation. Target the largest human vessel. HFY stepped forward. Commander, I cannot allow this. You're about to destroy our entire fleet. Stand down, Kreksoth, Zarthik ordered. No, sir, I'm relieving you of command under Article 7 of the Hegemony Military Code. You are not competent to lead in this situation. Zarthik reached for his weapon, but other officers stopped him. Kreksoth was old, but he was respected. Many of the crew trusted his judgment more than Zarthik's pride. This is mutiny, Zarthik said. This is survival, Kreksoth replied. He turned to the communications officer. Send a message to Captain Turner. Tell him we wish to negotiate. But it was too late. Some of the hegemony ships had already begun their attack. Following Zarthik's last order, energy beams and missiles flew toward the human fleet. Turner watched from the bridge of Titan's Rest. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I tried to give them a chance. The human ships moved with incredible speed. They dodged the hegemony weapons easily, then fired back with devastating accuracy. In seconds, 100 hegemony ships were destroyed, not damaged, not disabled, but completely erased from existence. All ships cease fire, Kreksoth ordered desperately, but the damage was done. The battle for Earth's future had begun, and the hegemony was about to learn what it meant to fight the children of the First Terran Empire. The battle raged in space. Above Earth, hegemony ships fired desperately at the human fleet, but their weapons had no effect. The ancient human ships moved like ghosts, appearing and disappearing at will. Captain Turner sat in the command chair of Titan's Rest, his eyes blazing with blue light. Through the ship's sensors, He could see and control the entire battle. He was no longer just a human pilot. He was something more. Turner, Commander Morrison said, watching the destruction on the main screen. The hegemony ships are retreating. You can stop firing now. Turner didn't respond. His hands moved across the control panels, directing the human fleet with perfect precision. Every shot destroyed a hegemony ship. No energy was wasted. No target was missed. Alex, Lisa said, moving closer to the command chair. Can you hear me? Turner's head turned toward her, but his expression was cold and distant. I hear you, Dr. Hayes, but I have a battle to win. The battle is already won, Morrison said. Look at the screen. The hegemony fleet is broken. They're trying to surrender. Turner looked at the tactical display. Of the original 1,200 hegemony ships, only 300 remained. The rest had been destroyed or disabled. The surviving ships were sending surrender signals on all frequencies. They're not surrendering, Turner said. They're regrouping, preparing for another attack. No, they're not, Morrison insisted. Turner, you're not thinking clearly. The integration with the ship is affecting your judgment. Turner stood up from the command chair. As he did, his body seemed to glow with the same blue light as his eyes. The ship's power was flowing through him, changing him. My judgment is perfect, Turner said. I can see every ship, every weapon, every tactical possibility. The hegemony will never stop fighting us. The only way to ensure Earth's safety is to destroy them completely. Dr. Sam Rodriguez had been studying the ship's historical records. Turner, listen to me. The ancient humans made the same mistake. They became so powerful that they lost their humanity. That's why they chose to start over. The ancient humans were weak, Turner replied. They had the power to rule the galaxy forever, but they gave it up. They abandoned their responsibilities. Ben Clark was monitoring the ship's systems. Commander Morrison, the power readings are incredible. This ship is drawing energy from sources I can't even identify. It's like it's connected to the fabric of space itself. Turner raised his hand, and the main screen changed to show the ship's weapons systems. This vessel carries enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. I can end this war with a single shot. That's exactly what we're afraid of, Morrison said. On the bridge of the hegemony flagship, Kirksoth was trying to contact the human ship. Most of the hegemony fleet was destroyed, but he refused to give up hope. Captain Turner, he said over the communication system. This is K.R. Zoth of the Hegemony Alliance. I wish to negotiate a ceasefire. Turner's image appeared on the hegemony ship's main screen. Kirksoth was shocked by what he saw. The human's eyes glowed with unnatural light, and his skin seemed to shimmer with energy. There will be no ceasefire, Turner said. The hegemony chose war. Now you will face the consequences. Captain, please, Kirksoth said. I am old enough to remember the true history. I know about the First Terran Empire. I know that humans once ruled with wisdom and justice. Show that wisdom now. Turner's expression didn't change. Wisdom, justice. Your species has spent 12,000 years preparing for this moment. You've conquered worlds, enslaved populations, built weapons designed to destroy Earth. Where was your wisdom then? Kirksoth felt despair growing in his heart. You're right. We made terrible mistakes. But destroying us won't bring back the dead. It will only create more death. The dead will be avenged, Turner said, and ended the transmission. Back on Titan's Rest, Morrison was getting desperate. Turner, you're not the same person who sat in that chair an hour ago. The ship is changing you, just like it changed the ancient humans. I'm becoming what I was meant to be, Turner replied, the heir to the First Terran Empire, the guardian of humanity's future. Lisa stepped forward. Alex, do you remember why you became a pilot? You told me once that you wanted to protect people, not destroy them. For a moment, Turner's expression softened. I remember. But protection sometimes requires destruction. The hegemony will never stop threatening Earth. They'll gather more ships, develop new weapons, find new allies. The only way to protect humanity is to eliminate the threat permanently. And what about the innocent people on those ships? Morrison asked. The engineers, the medical staff, the civilians who didn't choose this war. Turner's eyes blazed brighter. There are no innocents in the hegemony. They all serve a system built on conquest and oppression. Ben looked up from his instruments. Commander, the ship's drawing more power, a lot more. If this continues, I don't know what will happen to Captain Turner. Turner moved to a different control panel. I'm accessing the ship's ultimate weapons. Weapons that can rewrite the fundamental laws of physics. The ancient humans used them to win the first war against the hegemony. And what happened to those ancient humans? Sam asked. They became so powerful that they lost their souls. They ruled the galaxy, but they weren't human anymore. Maybe being human isn't enough, Turner said. Maybe humanity needs to evolve. The ship's power systems hummed louder. Energy flowed through the walls like living things. The bridge itself seemed to be alive, responding to Turner's thoughts and emotions. Turner, Morrison said, I'm ordering. You two stand down. As your commanding officer, I'm relieving you of duty. Turner turned to look at Morrison. When he spoke, his voice echoed with power. You have no authority here, Commander. I am the captain of this vessel. I am the heir to the First Terran Empire. I will do what must be done. Lisa tried a different approach. Alex, what would your family think? Your parents, your sister? Would they want you to become a monster to protect them? Turner paused. For a moment, the blue light in his eyes dimmed. My family, ... I can barely remember them. The ship's knowledge is so vast, so overwhelming. My human memories seem small and insignificant. They're not insignificant, Lisa said. They're what make you human. They're what make you better than the ancient humans who came before. Turner looked at the main screen, which showed the remaining hegemony ships. They were no longer in attack formation. They were trying to retreat, to escape the solar system. They're running, Turner said. Just like they did 12,000 years ago. But this time, I won't let them escape. He began to activate the ship's ultimate weapon. The entire vessel shuddered with power. Energy patterns flowed across the hull like lightning. What are you doing? Morrison asked. I'm going to destroy their home worlds, Turner said. Every planet in hegemony space. Every ship, every station, every trace of their civilization. When I'm done, the galaxy will never have to fear them again. Ben's instruments went wild. The power output is beyond anything I can measure. This weapon could destroy entire star systems. That's the point, Turner said. K. Urzov's voice came over the communication system one last time. Captain Turner, I know you can hear me. I'm transmitting the locations of our civilian populations. Billions of beings who have never held a weapon, never threatened Earth. Please, show mercy. Turner looked at the data KRXOTH had sent. Families, children, entire civilizations that had nothing to do with the war. Alex, Lisa said softly, this is the moment that defines who you are. Are you going to be the protector you always wanted to be? Or are you going to become the destroyer that the galaxy fears? Turner's hand hovered over the weapon controls. The power was there, waiting to be unleashed. He could end the hegemony, forever, ensure that Earth would never be threatened again, but he could also see the faces of the innocent beings who would die. Millions of them, billions of them, double quotes, Turner began, then stopped. His hand trembled as he struggled with the decision. The ancient humans faced this same choice, Sam said. They chose power over compassion. They chose fear over hope. That's why they failed. Turner looked at his reflection in the ship's screens. His eyes still glowed with blue light. but now he could see the monster he was becoming. I can't, he whispered. I can't become what they were. He pulled his hand away from the weapon controls. The ship's power systems began to cycle down, no longer building toward ultimate destruction. Turner, Morrison said, are you all right? Turner collapsed into the command chair. The blue light in his eyes was dimming, but it hadn't gone out completely. I'm still connected to the ship. I can still feel its power, but I won't use it to commit genocide. What do we do about the hegemony? Lisa asked. Turner looked at the screen showing the retreating alien ships. We let them go, but we keep the fleet active. We watch, we wait, and if they ever threaten Earth again, we'll be ready. He opened a communication channel to KR Zoth. This is Captain Turner. Your fleet is free to leave our solar system. But know this, humanity remembers now. We remember who we were, and we remember what we're capable of. The galaxy has been warned. Zoth's reply was filled with relief. Thank you, Captain. I swear to you, the hegemony will never threaten Earth again. We will make sure of it. Turner nodded, then looked at his friends. I'm sorry. The ship's power, ... It's intoxicating. I can understand why the ancient humans were corrupted by it. But you weren't, Morrison said. You chose to be better. This time, Turner said quietly. But the temptation is always there. The ship offers so much power, so much knowledge. It would be easy to use it to reshape the galaxy, according to my will. Then we'll help you resist that temptation, Lisa said. We'll make sure you stay human. Turner smiled, but his eyes still glowed with blue light. I hope you can, because if I ever fall to the ship's influence completely, I might become something worse than the hegemony ever was. The ancient fleet of the First Terran Empire remained in Earth's solar system, a reminder that humanity was no longer helpless. But Turner's struggle was far from over. The ship's power would always be there, waiting to corrupt him. The question was whether humanity had learned from its past mistakes, or whether it was doomed to repeat them. 3 months had passed since the battle above Earth. The hegemony fleet had retreated to the edge of the solar system, but they had not left completely. They were waiting, watching, trying to understand what had happened. Captain Turner stood on the bridge of Titan's Rest, looking out at the stars. The ship now orbited Earth as a permanent guardian. The blue light in his eyes had dimmed but never disappeared. He was still connected to the ship, still partially transformed by its power. Any word from the hegemony? Commander Morrison asked, entering the bridge. Turner nodded. Zoth has been sending messages every day. He wants to negotiate a permanent peace treaty. He says the hegemony leadership is divided. Some want to continue fighting, others want to surrender completely. Dr. Lisa Hayes joined them at the viewing screen. What do you think we should do? Turner was quiet for a long moment. I think we need to make a choice. We can use our power to rule the galaxy again, like our ancestors did. Or we can find a better way. What kind of better way? Morrison asked. I've been thinking about that, Turner said. The ancient humans failed because they became too powerful. They forgot what it meant to be human. But maybe we can use their knowledge without making their mistakes. Dr. Sam Rodriguez entered the bridge, carrying a tablet filled with information. Turner, I've been studying the ship's historical records. I think I found something important. What is it? Turner asked. The First Terran Empire didn't just rule through force, Sam explained. They had something called the Galactic Covenant. It was a system of laws and agreements that all species followed voluntarily. How did it work? Lisa asked. Each species kept their independence, but they all agreed to follow certain rules. No wars between civilizations, no slavery, no destruction of inhabited worlds. In return, humanity shared their technology and protected everyone from external threats. Turner looked interested. What happened to the Covenant? It broke down during the war, Sam said. Some species thought humans were becoming too controlling. Others thought humans weren't doing enough to stop conflicts. The whole system collapsed, and war became inevitable. Morrison studied the information on Sam's tablet. Could something like that work again? Maybe, Turner said, but it would require trust. And after what happened 3 months ago, I'm not sure anyone trusts humanity anymore. An alert sounded on the bridge. Captain, the communications officer reported, we're receiving a transmission from the Hegemony fleet. It's Kirksoth. Put him on screen, Turner ordered. Krzath. Image appeared on the main screen. The old alien looked tired, but determined. Captain Turner, Kirksoth said, I need to speak with you urgently. There are developments in the Hegemony fleet that you should know about. What kind of developments? Turner asked. Commander Sarthik has been removed from command, but he still has supporters. They're planning to attack Earth again, with or without official authorization. They believe that humanity's power must be destroyed before it can spread. Turner felt the ship's power surge through him. For a moment, his eyes blazed brighter. How many ships? About 200, Krzath said. They're planning to use a new weapon. Something they've been developing in secret. What kind of weapon? Morrison asked. Kirksoth looked uncomfortable. A planet killer. It's designed to crack Earth's crust and destroy all life on the surface. Turner's expression grew cold. Then we'll destroy them first. Wait, Lisa said quickly. Kirksoth, do you have a better solution? I might, Kirksoth said. But it would require Captain Turner to come aboard my ship, alone. Absolutely not, Morrison said. It's too dangerous. I'll do it, Turner said. Alex, you can't, Lisa protested. It could be a trap. Turner looked at his friends. If I don't go, we'll end up fighting another war. More people will die. I have to try. But what if they try to capture you? Morrison asked. Turner's eyes glowed brighter. Then they'll learn why the ancient humans were feared throughout the galaxy. 2 hours later, Turner took a small shuttle to the Hegemony flagship. As he boarded the alien ship, he could feel the stares of the crew. Most of them had never seen a human before, and they were both curious and afraid. Krzath met him at the airlock. Captain Turner, thank you for coming. I know this is a risk. What did you want to show me? Turner asked. Krzath led him through the ship's corridors. I want you to meet some people. People who remember the true history of the First Terran Empire. They entered a large room filled with aliens of different species. All of them were old, like Kirksoth. Some were in medical chairs, others used mechanical devices to help them move. These are the Keepers, Krzath explained. The last generation that remembers what life was like under human rule. An elderly alien with 6 arms stepped forward. I am Veltara. I was born on a world that was part of the First Terran Empire. I remember the peace, the prosperity, the protection that humans provided. Tell him about the Covenant, Krzath said. Veltara nodded. The Galactic Covenant was not a human creation. It was a joint effort by all species. Humans provided the technology and military power, but the laws and agreements were created by everyone working together. Turner listened carefully. Why did it fail? Because some species wanted more power, another alien said. They convinced others that human rule was oppression. They started small conflicts, then blamed humans for not stopping them quickly enough. The war began when a group of species demanded that humans give up their military superiority. Veltara continued. When humans refused, the rebels declared war. The rest of the galaxy was forced to choose sides. Turner felt the ship's power flowing through him. And now the same thing is happening again. Not necessarily, Krzath said. Captain Turner, I have a proposal. What if we recreated the Galactic Covenant? What if we built a new system based on cooperation instead of domination? The Hegemony would never agree to that, Turner said. Some would, Crixoth replied. Many of our species joined the hegemony because they were afraid of being conquered. If humans offered protection and cooperation instead of conquest, things might be different. Veltara stepped closer to Turner. Captain, I can see the power in you. The same power that corrupted the ancient humans. But you're fighting it. You're still human inside. Turner looked at the old aliens around him. What are you asking me to do? Help us create something new, Kayrzoth said. A galactic government where all species have a voice, where humans provide protection and technology, but don't rule alone. And what about the ones who want to destroy Earth? Turner asked. We deal with them together, Kayrzoth said. Show the galaxy that humans can be trusted. Show them that power can be used for protection instead of domination. Turner thought about the offer. It was tempting, but he also knew the risks. There's something you need to understand, Turner said. The ship has changed me. The power is always there, always tempting me to use it. If I agreed to this, I might not be able to control myself forever. Then we'll help you, Veltara said. Just as you helped us during the First Terran Empire. Protection goes both ways. Turner made his decision. All right, I'll try. But if I ever become a threat to innocent people, you have to stop me. We will, Crixoth promised, over the next few weeks. Turner worked with Crixoth and the other alien leaders to create a new agreement. They called it the New Covenant. It was similar to the old Galactic Covenant, but with important differences. Humans would provide protection and share their technology, but they would not rule over other species. Each civilization would remain independent. A council made up of representatives from all species would make decisions about galactic law and order. Most importantly, there would be limits on human power. The ancient ships would remain active, but they would be controlled by the council, not by human commanders alone. When Turner presented the idea to Earth's leaders, many were skeptical. You're giving up humanity's advantage, Admiral Johnson said. We could rule the galaxy again. That's exactly what we can't do, Turner replied. The moment we start ruling others, we become what the ancient humans were. We lose our humanity. Dr. Lisa Hayes supported Turner's decision. The New Covenant gives us something better than power. It gives us peace. Commander Morrison was more cautious. What about the hegemony hardliners? The ones who still want to destroy Earth? We'll handle them, Turner said. But we'll do it as part of the galactic community, not as conquerors. The test came sooner than expected. Commander Zarthik's rebel fleet attacked 3 weeks later. 200 ships, armed with planet-killing weapons, descended on Earth's solar system. But this time, they didn't face humanity alone. Ships from a dozen different species had joined Earth's defense fleet. The New Covenant was being tested in battle. Turner sat in the command chair of Titan's Rest, but he was no longer alone. Crixoth stood beside him, as did representatives from other species. They were all working together to defend not just Earth, but the idea of the New Covenant. Zarthik's fleet is in range, the tactical officer reported. Turner looked at his alien allies. Any objections to defensive action? None, Kayrzoth said. Protect Earth. Protect the future we're building together. The battle was swift and decisive. The combined fleet overwhelmed Zarthik's rebels. But instead of destroying them completely, Turner offered them a choice. Surrender and join the New Covenant, he broadcast to the rebel ships, or leave our space and never return. Most of the rebels chose to surrender. Zarthik himself was captured and would face trial by the Galactic Council. 6 months later, Turner stood on the bridge of Titan's Rest, which had been converted into a space station orbiting Earth. The ship was no longer a weapon of war, but a symbol of cooperation. Representatives from hundreds of species lived and worked on the station. They were creating laws, sharing technology, and building a better future for the galaxy. Any regrets? Commander Morrison asked, joining Turner at the viewing screen. Turner looked out at the stars. His eyes still glowed with blue light, but the power no longer consumed him. None. We did the right thing. The ancient humans would probably think we were weak, Lisa said. Maybe, Turner said. But they're gone, and we're still here. I think that says something about the value of staying human. Dr. Sam Rodriguez approached them with a tablet. Turner, I've been analyzing the ship's historical records. I found something interesting. What is it? Turner asked. The ancient humans didn't just disappear, Sam said. Some of them survived. They scattered across the galaxy, living as normal people on different worlds. You mean there are others like me? Turner asked. Not exactly like you, Sam said. But there are humans out there who carry the genetic markers of the First Terran Empire. They could potentially interface with the ancient ships. Turner considered this. Then we need to find them. Not to create an army, but to make sure they understand the choice they'll face. The choice between power and humanity. Morrison asked. The choice between ruling the galaxy and saving it, Turner said. As the station orbited Earth, Turner felt the weight of his responsibilities. He was no longer just a fighter pilot. He was the guardian of humanity's future and the protector of the new covenant. The power of the ancient ships would always be there, waiting to corrupt those who used it. But Turner had learned something the ancient humans had forgotten, that true strength came not from power, but from the wisdom to use it responsibly. The galaxy was at peace, but that peace was fragile. It would require constant vigilance and constant choice. The choice to remain human, even when offered godlike power. Turner looked at his friends and allies, human and alien alike, and knew that as long as they stood together, humanity would never forget the lessons of the past. The age of the First Terran Empire was over. The age of the new covenant had begun, and this time, they would do it right.